Good morning. Um, this is going to be obviously a development diary video. Now, the most exciting thing this week has been this product here, Era for Navigator RPG. Now, Era is the electronic role-playing assistant. Um, oh, yeah, there you go. Uh, why this is exciting is because obviously I wrote Navigator RPG, and a third party, an independent developer, has created Era. It was originally written for Rolemaster, but it has been ported across to Navigator. Now, one of the things about Navigator was the whole game was intended to uh, yeah, every chapter has the rules you need for, say, creating your own species, creating your own cultures, professions. Um, you, you you take it and make it your own. So it has a play style but not a setting. Um, so you got loads of options, but the game was released under the OGL. Uh, it's encourages the OSR play style. So you've got far less skills than you would have in most sort of sci-fi settings, especially from the Rolemaster model. Um, but it's kind of an open start play style. The whole thing is a framework from which you can build, and that was my intention. That people would build from it. And Era is the first thing that is actually being built. It is of of yeah, it's a standalone product. I didn't write it, and one of the important things here is if someone were to search for Navigator RPG, you actually find the core rules and you find the first kind of supplement for it. And the more things there are available for a game system, the more alive it looks, the more of a community you can expect. Uh, Era makes running Navigator you know, easier to track. It tracks combat, it tracks characters. You can level them up. You can use it so you can like a very very cut down virtual tabletop. You can talk between characters in character, but you know, each person it runs a little web server, so there has to be one central computer. Um, but everyone that can connect to it. If we go back to here, and this is also something that's quite cool, is we've got a little discussion going already. Of you know, there's the actual creator. So love all these kind of aspects of community that build up around things, and even if it's just a discussion page on a product, that is all little bits of the community coming together. So yeah, anyone, even you can have your character sheet on your phone, and you can use it. You can send messages to each other, and it's all logged. So that's really really cool. Now, what Era does for Navigator that it doesn't do for Rolemaster is Navigator RPG has solo rules built in, and the Oracle is part of Era for Navigator RPG. So that is something that it's functionality above and beyond what you would find in other versions. And the core product is pay what you want. And it would be really, really great if people support it. The way that the Rolemaster one works is that the core product is pay what you want. The data files to expand it and add more weapons, more professions, more spells, all that sort of thing. The way they are done is you buy the data files. So it's the data files that cost, but the actual server and clients they are they're free. So that's really exciting. That is the first truly standalone supplement for Navigator RPG, and that is there's other things. There's a game called Pilot RPG, which is in the pipeline. There's two others. There's a fantasy version and a sort of 1920s Cthulhu version. And in the longer term, I want to do a World War II kind of Kelly's Heroes type, World War II adaptation of Navigator, and they will be developed from the underlying system, which is called Bare Metal Edition. And if you search GitHub for Bare Metal Edition, you'll find the actual bare bones system that sits behind these games. So all of that is really exciting. Now, so that's really cool. That's all happened. Also on my sort of to-do list for this week is every single week. What I try and do is build more infrastructure into the sort of the parts per million company. Now, one of the recurring themes with all the indie developers is we're all on DriveThru, and that is our main storefront. And as things get a bit more established, this idea of you being completely dependent on just one storefront becomes an issue. You want more resilience. There was a period earlier this year, or it might have been end of last year, where DriveThru or One Bookshelf tried to unify the old RPG Now and DriveThruRPG when they retired the previous site, and the whole site just went offline for pretty much a week. Which, if you are completely dependent on the one storefront and it goes down for a week, that is a problem. Now, what most of us most of the indie writers that I talk to, what we've been doing, and I'm on this same treadmill as well, is we've been putting products onto Itch and onto Amazon and onto Lulu. There's other storefronts out there as well, but these are the big ones. And there's the one big implication for it is the DriveThru. If you put your products on other sites other than your own, the digital products, they drop your commission from 70% to 65%, which is actually a 7% loss in income. If you're just starting out, 7% of almost nothing is still almost nothing. And you would never miss the fact that you are getting 7% less. If you've got an established income, then that's quite a big hit. and you kind of have to build up these other revenue streams to the point where they are earning more than you would lose by going non-exclusive. And also the exclusivity part of it, it takes 6 months to transition from an exclusive publisher to a non-exclusive publisher. I think One Bookshelf have set that 6 month period because most minor products have a sales curve where you, uh, most people that were going to buy it would have already bought it within 6 months. Um, I seem to be bucking that trend in the fact that I am still getting quite good sales of books that are 2 years old or older, even. Um, so, yeah, but it's a big consideration. 6 months in kind of limbo where you're getting less income, but you don't have the freedom to go elsewhere. Um, so you want to build up these others. And that's the road I was on. I'm moving products to the print on demand versions onto Amazon. I am moving. I'm building up a new stable of products on Itch, and the plan was to, or is, to once I have transitioned to non-exclusive, just merge everything. So everything that is on DriveThru will appear on Itch, and everything that is on Itch will migrate to DriveThru. And between the two, they should uh, that should uh, sort of give me some resilience. And the same, everything then goes on to Amazon as well, and everything that's suitable to go to Lulu goes to Lulu. The other option, and what I'm researching this week, is actually, um, you know, this is obviously my website. It's mainly the blog, but lurking up here in the corner is a little bit of the website is built using WooCommerce. I think it says so in the bottom. Storefront and WooCommerce. Now, when I built the site, I intended it to be a store first, and you know, the blog came second. I wasn't really blogging much in the start. And if you actually search that, there is underneath, although there's no that link there goes to it'll probably show you a minute. Oh, you can't see it on your screen. That goes to DriveThru. It just my profile on DriveThru. Searching it brings up the product list, and if you click on the 3D version of No GM Sky, here are the products, the product listing. This one didn't have any additional images, but yeah, but there is the full store underneath. But if you click buy product, you end up back at DriveThru, and it's the same product listing there. So technically, I would describe this as a bit of a half-assed store. What I'm researching, what I want to do is build this up. So when you click buy product, I'm going to put a PayPal payment gateway on here and host my own digital downloads. The point in doing that is that DriveThru take 30 to 35% commission. So if I can encourage people, because at the moment, if I put out a link to a product, I put out the DriveThru link. If I can get into the habit of when I put out a link to a product, put out the link to my own store, and that store can handle all of the sort of the processing itself, I'm not going to get the full 30% because I'm still going to end up paying the card fees, and the PayPal's fees, or I think Swipe is another alternative. I've got to look at how I can to do this. But the first thing I would gain is if everything is sold through my own store, it doesn't matter if drive-through goes down if I'm still making sales to my own store. My own store doesn't violate the non-exclusive agreement or the exclusivity agreement. Uh, so yeah, it gives me a little bit more resilience, a little bit more profit margin, and you're not dependent on things like, because Amazon take a huge cut from any sale on there. It can be up to 70% going to Amazon and 30% to you. That's horrendous. Itch is better. They take less. I think they default to 10% plus the gateway fees. So that's far more reasonable. But all these people are taking some cut somewhere. So you may as well save yourself that cut, even if it just increases your profits by 10% and gives you that resilience. So this is uh, what I'm researching, and so I don't make much of the store at the moment, but I will be building this up. It's also going to take some research into uh, how to design a really, really good product description page. This is a science unto itself, and it's something I don't really know yet. But I reckon that if I read up on product page design and usability, I can probably apply some of that to my own drive-through pages. You don't have a huge amount of control, but if you can improve things, then it's got to help. So yeah, lots of research with the goal of bringing this store back online, and not just referring through to drive through, but actually uh, selling products off my own store. Um, so yeah, that's the see, it's all here. It's just a case of you know, making the best use of it. So yeah, that's it. Uh, if you're you know, if you are exclusive on drive-through, then at some point you are also going to want to start looking at how to make yourself more resilient. Um, so yeah, this is going to be relevant to everyone. So you can if you want to look at some really really bad product pages, use the little search products, and you'll see a truly terrible store. But over time, starting from this week, you will start to see small improvements. Or from next week, maybe give me a chance to do some reading. Okay, so that's it. Um, yeah, speak to you next week.